I think we're actually burying the lead. Hey, OC, how did you know that Parsons was going to be able to rush the passer as well as he did? You're the only person I've ever seen to ever say that Micah Parsons could be a put his hand down guy. So I need that question answered.
The OC.
And boss, show me. Bringing you another one, man.
Another one.
Yeah, we got to definitely talk. Because see, now that the candidates are coming out, let's go get clear. I got you.
Like, we must have got a guard. That's the only thing that would have made him do that. That's it.
He know.
He know. Because he been watching Twitter, man.
Yeah, so what we got to be careful of, man. I'm seeing some nefarious stuff going on in the streets, in my opinion. They not playing the game fair to me. I'm gonna talk about it. Let's really look at these candidates. No pet cats. None.
My reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I do.
Boss, show me.
Yep. Show me has become a lost art. We just trying to bring it back, right? It's a lost art. Where do people value facts like they used to? Or is it more about confirmation bias?
Shot it. Fight for, see, that's how to go out. Don't go out, just sit back. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna take Matthew Golden. No, fight for it. You wanted physical. You said you wanted physical. Fight for it.
I always fight. I always fight. It's not a day you ain't gotta fight. You gonna wake up fighting, you gonna go to bed fighting. As long as you living in this world, you will definitely fight for these Cowboys.
Oh my God.
Somebody else said
It's
Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matters.
Oh man, here we go. Today's stream is brought to you by Sleep App. Go for a Hail Mary on your sleeper picks and win up to 100 times your money. Use promo code BCS and Sleeper will 100% match your first deposit up to $100 instantly. We got a lot of work to do, Cowboy Nation. Got a lot of multitasking to do. Part of the game. Part of the game. You got to be able to look at these coaching candidates. You got to be able to look at these draft picks. You got to be able to look at free agents. You got to be able to look at everything. And you got to be fair across the board as you're looking at all of it, right? So the reason why I brought this up in terms of recruit the army of rivals, because to me, out of all the candidates that we've interviewed so far, to me, it should be clear, but it's not clear, especially as I'm listening to what people are saying in the streets. What people are saying in the streets is that Jim should be the overwhelming favorite, and they almost treating the other candidates like they're mad. And let me tell you, okay, it's like and it's really being pushed, especially from the locals, right? But I don't think that's the best way to go forward at all. I don't think that's the best way to go forward. I don't think the best way to go forward is to kind of go opposite of what Brian said. See, Brian said he wanted to spread the net wide, but it's a lot of people out there. It's almost like they pushing for like it's already done, and it's especially coming from the locals. Okay, so the reason why I said an army of rivals, because sometimes, and a lot of times, you learn to respect your opponents based on how they fought you. I used to do that. Like, right? It was people I would play against, but I low-key respected them because they was dogs, you know? Now, in the heat of it, you hate them. In the heat of it, you hate them. But then afterwards, you'll sometimes say to yourself, I wish that dude was on my team. It happens all the time. That's why I'm not buying this Al Harris stuff. I'm not going to let that fly. I'm going to push back on that. I'm not going with the narrative that's being pushed. I'm not going to let them push that on me. So let me show you another example of a rivalry where they came together. Listen.
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against, you know, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always, you know, extra tough against Mike, you know, particularly, you know, just the way he would lay out the defense, you know, the change up calls and, you know, a lot of things in football, everybody has a menu of things you look at, but, you know, he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet change up. So that's the way I look at it.
And see, Mike McCarthy was saying that when he recruited Zimmer. Okay. So when he recruited Zimmer, that's when he was talking about it was Zimmer that gave me the most problems when I was at Green Bay. So I recruited him as a rival. So my question for all the people trying to pretend like Jim should be just the overwhelming favorite, and if you think outside of that, so let me first show y'all that this is truly coming from the locals. So let me show you the locals and what they saying. And they saying some, to me, weird stuff. All right. So, like, for instance, like John Owen, I think for the most part, he been fair. He definitely wants Jim. He's pushing for Jim, and that's okay. If you believe in a guy, push for him. But then it gets crazy to me when you see stuff like this. So somebody said in something that he posted about Jim Leonhard, he said, "You seem to be up on these guys. Well, I really am not at the moment. Is Jim Leonhard your clear number one? If not, who's the best alternative? Seems like his job to lose from what Shotty said in the press conference and what I understand about him." And he said this, he and Flores are 1A and 1B. How do you put Jim as 1A and then put Flores as 1B? See, that's when it's like, come on. Like, what are we doing? Like, and listen, I give John, because I know he does deep research. I know he's a football head through and through. Maybe I would need to talk to him, but I don't see how in the world you come to that. I don't see how in the world you put somebody who is not actually even sitting in the seat. Like, he's the passing game coordinator, but they treating him like he is Vance Joseph's over there. And he's not. He's the support to. So how in the world could he be the 1A? And I'm telling y'all, it's these media people that's pushing this. Look, let me show you. So, like, y'all remember this? 5 defensive coordinators. We're going to talk about this evening. 5 defensive coordinator candidates the Cowboys need to avoid at all costs. Y'all remember I told y'all I needed to click and see who said that. It's like, damn, because they put Al Harris. It's like, what? Al Harris to avoid at all costs? As if there's no case to be made for Al Harris? You know, and so I was like, all right. And then guess what? If you go look, guess who also super co-signing Jim Leonhard? That same guy. So the same guy who did basically almost like a hit piece against Al Harris, which he might honestly feel, we might see it different. But it ain't funny to me, but that the same local media people pushing Jim Leonhard. Pushing him hard. They pushing them hard. And listen, I'm open for a side by side check box type thing, which all of us should do. This don't look like that. This look like a pet cat to me. That's what it feels and smells like. Because it's like candidates with actual league NFL results are being treated like, Al, he's just a technical coach. We need a tactician. And it actually should be the opposite. We're gonna talk about that this evening, me and Luke, for sure. But like, it's like, it's like, okay, so the same guy who pushed against Al Harris is pushing for Jim Leonhard. And then you got Fish, top candidate, Jim Leonhard. All 5 of him can dunk. Leonhard goes above the rim. And it's Bobby Belt did a whole montage. Do you know how much work you got to do to go find clips and then merge those clips with the same things that Brian said? And it wasn't obviously fully identical. They're kind of in the same family, but I listened, man. It was not like congruent, like, because a lot of the stuff he said on these clips that Bobby pulled up, I can do that for any coach, honestly. Like, I can go find clips of, I guarantee I can show you clips of Brian saying that how important teaching is and how you got to be able to teach in different types. And as a matter of fact, I know Daronte said that, but they not doing the work to feature the other guys. They are singly focused on Jim Leonhard. The radio content, who they pushing, who they saying inside the building they want, which is totally opposite of what the building itself said. What the building itself said is that we want to cast a wide net, but they trying to give us the impression as if Jim Leonhard is just the overwhelming favorite, and maybe it's some people in the building that like him, but nah. Football people are, what they really doing likely is interviewing and checking the boxes. So that's why I want to talk about the army of rivals, because if you really look at what happened, there was no other defense that gave schematically the Cowboys the problems that Minnesota did. So you can go listen to the press conferences and the after press conferences with Denver. They wasn't even leading up to the game. They wasn't talking about the schematic problem like they was talking about with Minnesota. So Brian Flores and Daronte Jones gave the head coach the biggest fits schematically all year. They said it going into the game, and they said it coming out of the game. So I'm gonna just go clip by clip and show you that, because see, we got to bring proof back. See, proof got to get popular again. Proof got to get popular again, and proof is not popular anymore. Proof is not sexy anymore. It's about, I said so, this is my opinion, go with it. I said Jim Leonhard to be the guy, go with that. No, you got to show me. You got to show me, because I'm showing y'all. I'm showing the people that follow this channel receipts. So I need receipts. It's not going to be just because I said so, he's 1A. Like, nah. It got to make sense, and it don't make sense. So first, if we checking boxes in terms of trying to form this team of rivals, right? If we trying to form this team of rivals, let's go listen at the number one thing that Brian Schottenheimer hated about the defense, and then let's see.
Why was it such a disconnect defense as you look at it now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Todd, when we go back through the year and you look at it, I mean, it was the inconsistency. You know, I mean, it was different things every week. And, you know, some of the struggles in the pass game when we were playing zone, and then some of the struggles in the pass game when we were playing man-to-man. And, you know me, the number one thing that you want to do is stop the run. I thought we actually did that in the latter part of the season.
Which, credit to White Cotton for that. And credit for Jerry for making an acquisition to get Quentin Williams, which helped in that. But it was also they made some changes schematically with White Cotton to do the 5-man front. That was all White Cotton. That's why I never threw him out of the candidate pool, because it's like, bro, you made some adjustments that work. So to me, it's fair to look at White Cotton. But let's keep going.
I think where we ultimately came up short was we weren't able to take the ball away. You know, you look
where we ultimately came up short. So when he's summing up his problem with the defense, he's saying the biggest problem with the defense is we wasn't getting the ball. So if we wasn't getting the ball, and if I'm looking at these candidates, wouldn't it be important for me to find a DC that gets the ball, that has a track record of getting the ball? See, because all these people that's trying to push Jim on us, they not discussing that. They doing exactly what I said they was gonna do. Look, he runs. He's gonna run us. He's gonna run a match. He's gonna run a lot of man. It's all schematic. But that's listen. Schematics, you can catch up to schematics. It happens all the time. And just like if y'all are astute enough to go study what he did back in Wisconsin, what do you think offensive coordinators go do? What do you think they go do when they going against him? You think they go be caught off guard? We got us a super chat. He said, I don't want to be that guy, but it's coming down to skin colors, and he's better than the other two. With some people it is. With some people it is about skin. And don't listen, bro. Whenever you bring up race, bro, don't be that I don't want to be that guy, bro. Listen, race, we don't never got to apologize for talking about the obvious. Yes, be that guy, because some of it is race. Now, I'm not gonna try to figure out with each one of these people, could this person be, because see, it's sometimes race, it's sometimes bias, it's sometimes trying to be right. It can be a number of different reasons why people are showing a preference to Jim. It's not always race, but with some people it's race. I want a white DC. It's as simple as that for some people. Some people is like, I bet on this guy and I believe in this guy and I want to be right about that. You know, it could be a lot of reasons. I'm not going to try to figure out why, but I'm looking at how things are being done. And I'm like, nah, this some bullshit. This ain't being added up the right way. Yeah. So, because to me, if your head coach clearly focused on
back at our shortcomings and the team's playing this weekend, and I agree with Jerry. You know, I'm sick that we're not playing this weekend. We're good enough to play this weekend. Unfortunately, starting with me, we didn't play good enough in terms of the ball. You know, -9 in the giveaway takeaway rate.
What is Brian? See, so you can do a whole collage on Brian saying, I want to be teacher, I want this. But what is Brian focusing on specifically? If he could pick one thing, like, what do I want out my defense? We can talk about teachers and multiple and, you know, yeah. But what is he really hammering?
Show that's terrible. It's terrible. And so we have to protect the football on offense. We did not do that at a high enough level. And quite frankly, we did not get enough turnovers. Why? Turnovers create momentum. There's game changing.
So what is he focusing on? Now, out of the final press conference, and they asked him, what was the breakdown? He talking about takeaways. Of course he talked about, I want somebody that can teach and all of that. But the main thing that he wants is takeaways.
Plays. And as we go back through the season, we look at it, those are going to be certain things that we'll identify. And that's the process that's kind of already started.
So if we grade these candidates that just interviewed, and my boy say it's racial. The thing is, those that are racist can't say otherwise and play victim immediately, gaming belief from the masses. It could be with some of them. It could be. I promise you. Yeah. And that's always the case, you know. It's always the case that when you're dealing with a white and a black, it's going to be somebody that's going with the white guy because he's white. And it's going to be some people going with the black guy because he's black. It's going to happen. That's going to happen. It's too many people with these different weird ideologies and biases for that not to happen. So no, that does happen. So we not gonna act like that everybody is being above board. You know, it is some people out here. Same thing happened with Murray and Logan Wilson. I guarantee you that. It was some people that didn't like Murray legitly. It was some people that was pushing for Logan Wilson purely because he was white. Same thing they pushing for same thing Sanborn. Yeah, pushing for Sanborn, same way. Cause see, that outrage on Murray was totally different than the outrage on Sanborn bad play, and totally different than the outrage of LVE bad play. Totally different than the outrage of Logan Wilson bad play. They did all that damn lobbying to get Logan Wilson on the field. He got his ass on the field and he ain't do shit. So anyway, for some people that is the case. We not gonna ignore that. But going back to the point, if your defensive coordinator strongly pushing turnovers, then how in the world do we say Jim is 1A? How? If we looking at the results, if we looking at the actual results of what the coordinators did, how do you do that? Because the guy Ephraim Banda only had 15 interceptions from his unit in 2 years. Jim Leonhard had 25 interceptions in 2 years, which is middle of the league. Daronte Jones had 32 interceptions in 2 years, and last year his defense led the league in turnovers. But this is the man that a lot of people, especially these local media people, are treating like, they not talking about him. They not giving his background. They not, but Jim, oh yeah, they selling the hell out of Jim though. They selling the hell out of Jim. Nah, Daronte's background and his tree is way more aggressive and way better. We talking about Van Josephs. We talking about Zimmer. We talking about Brian Flores, the hottest candidate out. All is Daronte Jones was in it. That's his tree. And Marvin Lewis. We talking about the best defensive coordinators probably in the last 20 years combined. But that's the person. Daronte is the guy that the people like, he's okay. He's okay. But that Jim, yeah, I see something in Jim. That Jim, yeah, I like Jim. If you go back to Wisconsin, like why we keep talking about Wisconsin when we can talk about what he's done in the league? Yeah. Why do people got to keep going way back there? It's like, I ain't liking how this comparison openly is being done. It's not, to me, it ain't being done right. It's not. And so if I add up again the interceptions, let me ask y'all a question. If you add it up, who is checking the best box on this? If you heard your head coach say at the final press conference, this was the breakdown of the defense, the lack of turnovers. How is Daronte under Jim? Can somebody answer that question for me? If we adding up results, not speculation, not just because I said so. I'm not now the actual results. Who had the results from their men? Who got the best results? Is it Jim or is it Daronte? Because it showed Brian Flores. Shit, I'm like, somebody got to explain to me. All right, here we go. So let's do this. We finna take it to another level. We go play all these clips real quick. I'm gonna play all these clips at a record pace, and we go break this down. And I'm gonna ask you, has any team had Dallas on their heels like Minnesota? Let's just listen to what they was saying going into Minnesota. Listen.
They're very multiple. You can see, how he's taken the bones of the operation that he learned from Bill, in New England, and how he's put his stamp on it. What I love about Brian and what he does is, like, if you look at them last year, they're a little bit different than they are this year. They're still
now, because remember we talked about rivals, right? Recruiting an army of rivals, right? Now, this is going into the game. Brian said what he loves about Brian. So when I'm going against Brian, he basically saying I respect the hell out of him as a schemer. He wasn't talking like that about Van Josephs and Jim Leonhard. He wasn't.
Does is, like, if you look at them last year, they're a little bit different than they are this year. They're still very multiple. Look at their roster. He has a affinity in a good way for veteran players. Why? Well, they know football. They're smart. They can be multiple. They can make adjustments. They do as good a job as anybody of what I would say automaticing formations based on if you get in a certain look, they're going to get to something specific. If you get into a different look, as simple as the back's offset in the gun and near or far, they're going to get to different things. And so you can't do that with young players. You can. It's harder to do that with young players. But outstanding defensive mind, and he's very convicted.
That's going into the game. This is another clip going into the game. Listen.
We know Brian Flores loves to blitz. We know Coach Flores' reputation. Coach, how many different blitzes can you be unfamiliar with? The difficulty of a blitz package. Can you just kind of give us a football 101 with, not necessarily what Coach Flores likes to do, but the amount of blitzes that can come your way that can catch you off guard?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say when you're talking about a Brian Flores defense, number one is when you look at him, he loves veteran players. Okay, so all right, so there's a style there. Well, why? Well, he wants to be multiple, and he needs guys and wants guys that can do different things from different looks, and they can adjust quickly, and that's what he's built. And, at the end of the day, there's only certain number of blitzes. So I can bring 5 guys, I can bring 6 guys, I can bring 7 guys, I can bring 8 guys. So it really is a numbers game, right? And a lot of it's based on how many backs you have in the backfield or how many potential blitzers you can bring. What I think they're so good at, guys, is they're so good at the disguise part of it. Meaning, again, whether they're bringing 6 or they're bringing 7, they make it look like they're bringing nobody, and then they bring 6 or 7. Then they make it look like they're bringing everybody, and they bring only 5 or 4.
Let me just pause. Does it sound like Brian Schottenheimer respect them? Does it sound like Brian Schottenheimer was over there like, boy, we got our hands full? Every time Brian was talking about the rival, it was with respect. It was like, boy, we got our hands full. Like, he was looking schematically at what they was doing and was like, shit. And that's going in there with a veteran quarterback. That ain't no rookie. He going in there with a 10-year quarterback and still was like, sheesh, shit.
And so the disguise element, which the veteran players help with, I think is a huge part of it. But, this guy, he cut his teeth, talking about Flores, of course. He cut his teeth with Belichick, man. He learned under one of the best of all time. And but what's cool for me to see is because we used to play him, when they were in New England. And he's really added his personality to this thing. And very, very difficult to prepare for sure.
Hold on, listen to that last part. Hey, listen to this last part. Hey, listen.
When they were in New England, and he's really added his personality to this thing, and very, very difficult to prepare for sure. His personality to this thing, and very, very difficult to prepare for sure. Saying, and very, very difficult to prepare for sure.
I like this question. Somebody said, boss, is Daronte Jones your top choice after Flores himself? No. Nope. He's not. He's not my top choice. Yeah. No. My top choice out of all choices right now is Raheem Morris and Brian Flores. Those are my two top. Those are my absolute, like, Raheem Morris. He trumps Raheem Morris and Brian Flores. I'm sleeping like a baby if we get them. I'm walking with so much confidence, like we finna whoop some ass if we get any one of them, bro. If you get Raheem Morris, and me and Lou go be talking about that, I'll clip it out for you. Yeah, and then this the thing, Wee Woo, Madman, I already got the clips on Twitter. It's already clipped out. I already clipped out all of this stuff, and I already shared it. I clip out that last part again, but what did he say? Hard to prepare for sure. Yeah. Now listen to Dak.
Clarence Hill deal of Dallas Cowboys. Dak, what were they doing defensively? Just keep the lid on it and seem like frustrate your offense.
Yeah, the zero that we talked about just throughout the week.
Oh shit. Now notice Dak said what we talked about during the week. So we knew it was coming, and they still whooped our ass. I gotta hit an alarm on that. Oh yeah, we going deep into that Raheem Morris. Me and Lou doing a whole show on that tomorrow. Raheem Morris should be absolutely the top guy. He check every goddamn box. Excuse me for using the Lord's name in vain like that. He checks every box. Head coach, Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Passionate like Brian. You know what I'm saying? Energy. Defense schematically just confusing. Match coverages, fronts that's crazy. Plus, he got all of us in agreement. I agree with that. Okoye agree with that. And Lou. When you got the best minds all saying, I ain't gonna call my mind the best. I respect their minds. When you got Lou and Okoye, like, give me Raheem Morris over anybody. Oh yeah. But I'm gonna talk about that in the future. Let's keep going with Dak.
Gave it to us a bunch. We didn't have a good enough answer, and when you don't have a good enough answer for that, especially against Flores, you're going to see it again and again. And that's what happened. They did a great job of the back end, right, playing with vision. So
who's responsible for the back end? See, when he said he did a good job, because see, some people go say, boss, that's Brian. Boss, he giving credit to Brian Flores. Who's responsible for the back end that Dak just talked about?
Of the back end, right? Playing.
Who's responsible for the back end? Daronte. So this is not just yeah, that was all Brian. No, that was both of them together whooping Dallas ass schematically. The back end. Who's the coach that's responsible for that? So when Dak said the back end, he's referencing Daronte Jones.
Of the back end, right? Playing with vision. So it made it tough to get to the beaters, normal zero beaters when they're playing man, looking at the man, but they're looking at the quarterback. And so, they're going to rally when you throw it underneath, and you don't have time to get it past them. And they did a good job. They kept it on us, and we didn't adjust fast enough or come up with something good enough to scare them out of it. And we saw it the whole game.
Let's keep going.
And then just with George Pickens, why do you think that maybe it wasn't able to get going tonight with him?
Why was George Pickens not able to get going? Was y'all able to take away George Pickens schematically? Did that actually happen? Why was George Pickens not able to get going? Don't tell me y'all took away George. Don't tell me y'all schemed George out. Let me see.
Yeah, honestly, just the zero looks and things like that, and simple as that is that they were, anytime we're in a passing situation or passing downs, and when they were giving us that look, and we tried to throw them just a quick smoke early, not early, well, late, honestly, and maybe we should have done it earlier. Maybe we should have just thrown them a slant. A lot of maybes. I'm frustrated. This was one of the toughest ones I've been a part of.
Can we play that last part again? This is one of the toughest ones that I've ever been a part of. These dudes showed me shit I ain't never seen. They put some stuff on the test I just wasn't ready for, homie. But people have called them two the 1B. How are they the 1B? How? Dak just said, fuck it. I'm frustrated. Don't you want a rival that make your 10-year vet frustrated? Ain't that the team to recruit? Hold on now. Let's go back to what another head coach said.
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against. You know, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they are always, you know, extra tough against Mike. You know, particularly, you know, just the way he would lay out the defense. You know, the change-up calls, and you know, a lot of things in football. Everybody has a menu of things you look at, but you know, he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet change-up. So that's the way I look at it.
So why did Mike McCarthy like Zimmer? Is because that rivalry gave them fits. That rivalry was whooping some ass. So it was like, if I get a chance to get that over here, I'm taking it. We not saying that over here right now, though. We not saying that. We over here saying, he okay, Daronte. Flores, he's 1B. But that guy Jim, he's 1A. Yeah, he's 1A. But you don't hear Dak and them talking like that about when Denver whooped that ass. No. But when Minnesota whooped that ass, oh, they was frustrated. Dak was saying, I'm frustrated. Dak literally said, man, I'm just frustrated. I haven't been done like that. Listen.
Not early, well, late, honestly. And maybe we should have done it earlier. Maybe we should have just thrown him a slant. A lot of maybes. I'm frustrated. This was one of the toughest ones I've been a part of.
That boy said this is one of the toughest ones I've ever. Now in 10 years, he was like, so just that's why this is why I said, bro, I'm not gonna let them force no candidates on me, bro. I'm not gonna let whatever reason it might be, whether it might be your bias, pet cat, racism, whatever it might be. You ain't forcing shit on me. I got something to say about this, and I'm not, nah, this ain't finna be like, oh, these other guys, these clear qualified guys, and then, but Jim, yeah, hey, yeah. See, I like Jim, but y'all not gonna lie on the other candidates to try to make him stand out. We ain't doing that shit. I don't care what your reason is. I don't care if you just outright wrong. It don't have to be racism. It don't have to be stubbornness. It don't have to be any of that. It could be just negligence. I don't care what it is, but y'all need to do a better job of researching these dudes. It's way more people to research than just Jim. And there's way more people that we getting ready to interview that actually have better resumes. And it's really smart that if we look at these guys side by side, we need to be saying something about it, because if we don't, they go push that shit on us like they trying to do. I already showed you multiple of these local people are pushing strong for Jim, and for the most part not even talking about the other candidates. They just waiting on Jim. And Dak himself said this was the hardest probably I've ever. Listen, you did hear the word ever, homie. Listen.
One of the toughest ones I've been a part of.
The toughest ever. In 10 years. The bars that gave me the hardest look. The bars that tested me the hardest. In 10 years. But they go tell you this is 1B. Shit. No, that's 1A. Hell no. Maybe it's some secret super sauce that I don't know about with Jim that they know. Nah.
This week.
You talk about the frustration. Does that stem from you guys just feel like you had it all the way up till the fourth quarter, or coming into the week felt really good about it? Where does the frustration really stem for you?
Hold on real quick. I got a super chat. My boy Star Guardian said, if we get Flores, I'm gonna lose my mind. Bro, Listen, if we get Flores, bro, I'm crying real life tears, bro. Like, it's gonna be real tears in my face, bro. I'm gonna be real life crying, bro. It's gonna be snot bubbles and everything coming up. It's gonna be all kind of gooey juice and Cowboys. You just added Brian Flores to Dak and Brian Schottenheimer. Thank you, Jesus. I'm gonna be crying. Yeah, but listen to Dak. Listen.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got until we're kicking the onside kick. So, I mean, the frustration comes from honestly just not having a good enough plan to beat that cover zero.
Bro, I believe it, bro. I believe it. See, my boy say they trying to say Flores is like foosballs. It's all on Facebook. I know you telling the truth, bro. I know you telling the truth. It's a lot of people taking greatness from Brian and trying to treat it like it's okay. It's all right. They trying to take the greatness of Daronte and be like, it's, it's good. It's good. Yeah, that's how they moving, for real.
And seeing something over and over and over and like that, and
now listen to what Dak said again. We ain't gonna rush past that. Listen to what Dak said. Listen.
Until we're kicking the onside kick. So, I mean, the frustration comes from honestly just not having a good enough plan to beat that cover zero, and seeing something over and over and over and like that, and not being able to gash it.
We could not scheme them. They had a counter for our counter. The most frustrating part is we had no answer for them boys. This is your quarterback. A 10-year vet. Said, bro, the boys gave us looks, man. We was over here like, shit. We ain't got no answer for the boys. Yes, you heard that right. Yes. He asked him, what's the most frustrating thing? We ain't have no answer. Not they outplayed us. Not that they better. No. Schematically. See, a lot of them like to say tactician. Yeah. Even on the tactician side, Dallas got their ass whooped.
Inside kick. So, I mean, the frustration comes from honestly just not having a good enough plan to beat that cover zero, and seeing something over and over and over and like that, and not being able to gash it. I'm frustrated for myself, and just I didn't have an answer for it.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. You're talking about the zero looks. Do you feel like the struggles were maybe extra protection checks needed to be made? Was it, when the ball, trying to get the ball out quick, things just weren't there? What do you feel like maybe was the thorn in your side there?
It was the result of all of it.
It was the result of all of it. It was the result of everything they threw at me.
I mean, pretty much depending on the play, one of those things you said on a different play, sometimes we actually had the exact call we wanted, maybe missed a block, right? Other times they're getting there faster. We've got a route or a concept that I've checked to that I think works, but they're playing with vision and it doesn't.
He said they playing with vision and it doesn't. So if they playing with vision, that's talking about Daronte's role as the passing game coordinator. Daronte had his ass confused. Daronte is the coach of that back end, y'all. Y'all listen. Now, this is the guy people trying to make y'all feel is, he's okay. He's, Daronte. And all we got to do is go listen to what our own team was saying about them.
they're getting there faster. We've got a route or a concept that I've checked to that I think works, but they're playing with vision and it doesn't. So then you go and you try the other concept the next time and it doesn't work. And
we try our other concept and that don't work. We try another concept and that don't work.
And it was just a revolving door of trying our answers. And they did a hell of a job understanding. I mean, they're a good defense. He's a hell of a D coordinator, Flo, and just understanding that, like, his DBs knew that I had to get the ball out. It was zero, and like I said.
See, when he says DBs, don't be like, that's all Brian Flores right there. When he say his DBs knew, that's Daronte. Come on now. Come on now. Hey, come here. Come here. Come on. We go give credit now. We ain't finna be on this, it's okay. You know, he's okay. He's not Jim. Nah, we ain't gonna do all that. Listen, it's okay to say Jim is dope. It's also okay to say Daronte is dope. But what we not gonna do is try to act like Daronte ain't shit. Brian Flores is he's okay. But that Jim, oh yeah, woo! Man, y'all boy, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
They were playing top down and making it tough for you to even get past them or just throw it up, because then two would rally to it.
Somebody said, is there a parallel universe we can get both? Yeah, it actually is. It really is. It depends. If nobody hires Brian Flores as a head coach, there's a possibility, especially with the leaks of Dallas making a strong push at him for DC, that if you do get him, that you would also probably get Daronte at the same time. Yes, you could get both. What you praying for is stupidity in the marketplace. That's what you praying for. You praying for stupidity. You also praying for some of your better jobs to be filled. So, like, for instance, if you Brian Flores, you probably don't want to go to the Raiders, because that's a total rebuild. You don't want to go through that. You want to go to a place to where they already got a quarterback, they got key pieces in place, they got contracts in place, they got all that kind of stuff. It's only a few teams that's kind of built for it tough like that. That'd be an ideal place easily for somebody like a Flores. So a place like that would be obviously like Baltimore, right? Or the Browns. Those are places. Now, what you want to happen is you want another coach to get those jobs. If another coach get those jobs, that could push him to Dallas. And it's possible that could happen with the lawsuit that he had. Maybe it is some owners that's still afraid of that and don't want to mess with that. And if that's the case, yeah, he could. It's possible. And he said, this is where Dak should speak up about Flores and other DCs. And I 100% agree. This is also where we should speak up, bro. Because right now, I'm being honest, we are not loud enough as fans. We are not involved enough in this process. The people that's making their voices loud at this moment is the local media people. Yeah, they are the ones who writing articles and stuff like that. They are the ones who calling, Flores 1B and Jim 1A. They the ones who getting online and making it known who they prefer. What are you saying? What have you done? What work have you done to say, yeah, no, I don't feel that. Oh, I do feel that. What have you done? Have you at least shared something on Twitter to let your voice be heard? Or are you going to let them just flood the streets with their guy? Which he could end up being our guy. And like, I'm one of them guys. I love a lot of stuff about Jim. Love, not like, love. It's a lot of stuff to love about Jim. But I'm not gonna let these people just flood the streets like it ain't nothing else out there. And nah, we ain't finna do that. We not finna look at other qualified candidates and be like, yeah. Nah, bro. He say, every other DC has a call sheet that is as big as a binder. And here is Flores having a defense confusing teams with a folded piece of paper. Crazy. Yeah, Flores got something. He got something going over there, man. That's just dope, bro. He does. Listen.
Yeah, but it was all of them.
That boy say it was all of them. It was all of them. All of them gave me a problem. Yeah. A 10-year quarterback He like, all of it gave me a problem. Let's listen to Brian. Listen.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. You talk about protecting Dak. Did they do with the blitzes? Did they do things that surprised you that they weren't on tape, or what was the issue with not?
No, it was just they did.
Yeah, my boss said Brian Flores wants to be a head coach. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. We know he wants to be a head coach, but he might not. They have to hire him too. Okay, so until the ink is dry, there's a possibility. He's been clearly want to be we know that, but somebody said, is there a chance we can get both? I was explaining, this is how you can get both. You have to, it's almost like the draft, right? Sometimes in the draft, Tyrone Church, what do we pray for in the draft, Tyrone Church? JV, what do we pray for, Star Guardian? We pray for sometimes stupidity from other teams. We say, I hope they pass on Genty so he can fall to us. Don't we do that? It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying, is that we gotta, in order to try to get Brian Flores and Daronte Jones, somebody got to be stupid out there. The good news is that it's a lot of stupid that happens in the NFL. Voch says that a lot. Like, one thing that Voch is dead right on, he's been saying this for years, is that people don't factor in that a lot of teams draft bad and a lot of teams make bad football leadership decisions. So we need a few bad leadership decisions, and then we might be able to get lucky. So yes, I do understand he wants to be a head coach.
Did a really good job, Clarence, of kind of showing down, and you know, we put ourselves in 3rd and long. I think we had 7 of our 16 3rd and 4th downs were 7 or more, which allows them to do more disguising. And I just think that they kind of mixed it up, and you know, we thought it was 0 on a couple times, and it was, and we thought it was 0 on a couple times, and it wasn't. And at the end of the day, I just think our execution was off, and I think, you know, I didn't do a great job, you know, adjusting, and that comes on me. And having looked at it this morning, you know, we've got some really good answers that we feel good about, but it certainly doesn't help us get that game back. And so I have to own that from my seat.
Now, this is after the game. Yeah, my boy say, come on, Jerry. Alpha Flores, a DC assistant head coach. Yeah, and a big-ass bag. For real. Offer him a big-ass bag. When you see Brian begging like this and showing this much respect, man, he's showing all kind of respect for them boys. Listen.
You talked about the all-up looks that they present to you. Is there a telltale sign or read that you can see, whether it be you or as the quarterback, when they're all up there and not moving until the snap of, okay, this guy's going to drop, or is that just part of the difficulty in going up against that?
Yeah, you try to use your cadence. The answer is yes. You try to use your cadence. When you've got a guy that's almost my age as the free safety standing down there on the line of scrimmage, he's pretty good at not giving tells. And, you know, he's seen a lot. He's been doing this for a long time. You know, he's been doing this going back to when he first got drafted there with Zim. So I think he's, if not the best, one of the best. After what they did to us last night, I'll say he is the best. But, you know, a guy like Harrison makes that thing go, man. And they're very disciplined. They're very confident. And, again, that's why I give them a lot of credit.
The play caller in that situation, how early into a game do you kind of get a sense or feel for, okay, they're taking George away, or CD, which one of them is clearly the focus to be taken away?
It usually happens. You figure it out about the first quarter, you know. You kind of have an idea. You know, we do move CD around more than we move George. That's part of it. CD's much, you know, more used to moving around. We move George around some, but we move CD around a little bit more. So, you know, that makes it harder on George at times. He's a little easier to take away and double. So we'll look at that. But probably by the end of the first quarter, you kind of have an idea of what their plan is. And, you know, they did a nice job. Again, veteran defense. You know, I think, you know, Murphy played really good yesterday. I thought he did a really nice job with some things. And again,
Who coaches Murray? Who coaches the people that he was naming? Who coaches the back end? Who coached Harrison Smith? Who coaches Murray? Huh? But this is the person that a lot of people in these local media people treating like, you know, Daronte, he's okay. He's okay.
They did a nice job. Again, veteran defense. I think Murphy played really good yesterday. I thought he did a really nice job with some things. And again, I'm going to continue to sing their praises because I think they just very, very good defense who played yesterday.
I'm going to continue to sing their praises. I'm going to continue to sing their praises. But you got people out here that'll try to make you believe that it ain't even close. You got people out here that'll be like, just go with Jim. Nah, I don't see it. I would want somebody to actually explain it to me. Maybe it's something I don't see. I'm open to it. But that chicken ain't all the way cooked. That chicken pink, y'all. If people being honest, that chicken pink as fuck. When you got to go all the way to Wisconsin to try to sell me on him, when he was basically tricking kids, because that's what it comes down to. You brought an NFL defense right to college, and so you was basically outmatching kids. You was a heavyweight fighting middleweights. That's what was happening. So the best way to know if you're a true heavyweight is we need to see, can you do that on a higher level? And they are doing more interviews. They are doing more. My boss said, I'm hoping for more interviews. Yeah, they doing more. They announced it today. They announced it about 3 hours ago that they go continue the interview process. That's why we gotta push back against this false narrative that Jim is inevitable, because that's what a lot of people trying to make it seem like, that it ain't no use even talk about it. It's gonna be Jim. Nah, don't be trying to push. And listen, I'm gonna say this, and this is why I said this today. There is no way possible I would let one guy get pushed on me. No way. I like Jim, but Brian was not like this with Denver. And I'm talking about the way that he was going on and on and on, and how Dak was going on and on and on about the schematic problems that they was finna face. And how Dak basically said, man, we ain't have no answers for them boys. He wasn't talking like that when he faced Jim and Van Josephs. He was not talking like that. So I'm not gonna let whatever reason you have a bias get in the way of what's right for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys is first to me, not trying to be right. They first to me. So hence, that's why I'm willing to push back against narratives that don't add up to me. And this ain't adding up. This is 2 + 2 is 7. To even have Jim as 1A and Brian Flores as 1B, even though Brian Flores is actually accomplished as a full DC and a full head coach and DC again. Nah, they not equal. And he sure ain't better. Hell no, not yet. Now maybe could he be? Put that chicken in the oven and let it cook. But don't serve me no raw ass meat and tell me that it's well done. No, that meat, no. Yeah. A passing game coordinator in the league is not sitting in the seat. Now, do I feel like he can do it? Yes, I do. I love the fact that Jim played for 7 different teams. I love that, because that means he has 7 different defensive coordinators that he can glean from. I love that. I love the fact that he seems to promote fast. I love that. You know, that to me tells me there's a presence about him, right? Yeah, that's all true. I love the fact that he had to crawl and scrape for everything that he ever had. that he was a walk-on at Wisconsin, that he was an undrafted free agent, and that he had to basically move around the league to play, and was a respected player. So I'm not over here smashing him, but what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna act like he ain't shit and these other guys are way better, and I'm not gonna act like they ain't shit and he way better. But what they doing is they trying to act like he the man and that these other guys is yeah. So let's talk about what to do now. What do you do now? Listen, I'm gonna be all the way honest too. I'm disappointed in a lot of my content brothers and sisters because this is not the time to be taking y'all vacations. Now, I ain't talking about little vacation because like my brother Jay Tuck actually celebrated his birthday. I ain't talking about something like that where you celebrated your birthday. But this is the time I'm talking about being engaged. I'm talking about being engaged because see, all these content creators that want to check out now or are not talking about this, you are leaving the discussion up to local people, to me, that's trying to manipulate this thing. We need a whole bunch of people to start speaking up and doing content. At first, you got to actually do your research. I've done my research on these guys. Lou have done research on these guys. So I've done a lot of research on these guys where I feel confident, right? And then all you got to do is look at your own team. But I'm not going to sit back and let somebody just force anybody on me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say my voice matter, but then don't have anything to say. And my boy say, sorry I'm late to the party. Who is this Jim he's speaking of? I'm talking about Jim Leonhard. Yeah. And I already showed at the beginning of the show that it's a lot of local people that's pushing Jim and hardly speaking about the other candidates. That are some of them just as good or better. But you're not hearing that low. They not talking about this as they would talk about the draft. Because if it's the draft, you go talk about the corners. You go say this one 6'1", this one 5'11". He runs a 4.3. They not doing it like that. They acting like it's just basically like one candidate. It's one pick, and it ain't. It's not. I say the local media trying to push Jim Leonhard like he should be the clear favorite, and it's not clear at all. Don't let these locals cheat the game. The way that you keep them from cheating the game, you have to go back and you have to also get on these social medias and blast this stuff out too. You got to get on there and say, I like Jim. If you do, say it. But then if you say, I like Daronte more, and this is why, say that. Because guess what? Jerry and them listens. They said it many times. Allegedly, I just heard that Vach also talked about that too. Yeah, it's only been 3 interviews. Yeah. And what you're saying is important. Yes, it's only been 3 interviews. And see, that's why we all should be pushing back against the narrative that this whole thing is pretty much decided. The Cowboys, they really like Jim. They really high on Jim. No. No, hell no. I don't want. If you try to pick Jim and you only interview 3 people, you disrespected the hell out of your whole fan base. You disrespected the hell out of your whole family. Yeah, and so, okay. And let me answer this question. He said, but boss, how many people actually know scheme, brother? How many know enough to have an intelligent discussion on coaches and qualifications? They're silent because they can't speak from knowledge. That's fair as hell. So let me say this to that point, Jay Brian, because when you making sense, I can't fight that. That's why we gotta do our part. You right. So we gotta do our part, which y'all can see I'm doing my best to show you the proof. I'm showing you the proof of how Dak spoke about them, right? So maybe people didn't do their research. Well, I've done the research. Lou have done the research. And we've presented these people. And I believe we present them fair. That's the key part. We present them fair. We not doing like the other side doing, where they minimizing greatness except for the guy that they want. Nah, everybody need to be put side by side and compared. Was you a former head coach? Did you play in a Super Bowl? Did you coach in the Super Bowl? What's your experience? How many turnovers have your team generated under your leadership? What's your philosophy? How did you have Dallas on their heels? Right? See, all of those things, we should be comparing everybody. Yeah. And I like what you said. He said, you and Lou have the knowledge. I may disagree with Lou, but I never question his knowledge of ball. Same with you. Yeah, and bro, that's gonna happen. Like, sometimes we go disagree, and that happens. Like, me and Lou disagree a lot. Well, not on football. We agree a lot on football. We disagree a lot on basketball. But occasionally we do disagree on football things, you know? And that's gonna happen with all of us. So what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to be active right now. Then take your vacation. The most important thing we got to get right now is this DC. This window is going to close in the next 2 weeks, maybe a week. We need a week of work. We need a week of pushing. We need a week of education. We need a week of knowledge. We need a week of working, of presenting people that actually fit us and why. Raheem Morris's, Daronte Jones, Brian Flores, and so many other people that we're getting ready to introduce, Lou and I. So I will be back tonight, me and Lou doing the show, because it's another thing that's going on that's ugly in these streets. The other thing that's going on in these streets is this Al Harris slander. It's a lot of Al Harris slander going on. And I also think they got a lot to do with Jim Leonhard. I see it's a lot of slander of any other candidate outside of Jim. That's what I've been seeing. They haven't announced the other DC candidates yet, but they likely gonna be announcing them probably tomorrow. They go probably wait till the morning where they go get the best ratings and exposure. So they ain't gonna announce it this evening. They gonna announce their next wave of interviews likely in the morning or Tuesday morning. But I don't want nobody forced on me. I don't want that. So if you don't want nobody forced on you, I'm telling y'all, get on Twitter and start making your opinions known. If you don't, you're gonna be drowned out by these local people. And like my boy Demetrius Adams said, I'm rooting for Daronte Jones, and I'm glad you are. The best thing to do since you rooted for that is to tweet it. And why? So my reasons that I'm rooting for Daronte Jones right now over Jim is because the main thing that Brian focused on was them turnovers. That's the main thing that he focused on. And Daronte is leading Jim by a lot in that area. Another thing that he focused on heavily was multiple. And Daronte beat his ass head up when it came down to having a multiple defense, a counter for a counter. So I want a team of rivals help now. We need as many of y'all as possible. As many of y'all as possible. We need as many of y'all as possible to share your voice. We need a hashtag. That's really what we need, man. We need a hashtag. I need to think about that. But I want us to recruit the army of rivals. We've seen this work before. We've seen this with Mike McCarthy. And the rivals that knocked your head off, the rivals that knocked your head clean off your head, I'm talking about knocked your head off, Dallas, was Daronte and Brian Flores. They knocked Dallas' head off. Dak and Brian talked about it before the game and after the game, that they was going to be a challenge, and they came in and they backed it up. We need exactly what Mike McCarthy did.
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against. You know, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always, you know, extra tough against Mike. You know, particularly, you know, just the way he would lay out the defense. You know, the change-up calls, and you know, a lot of things in football. Everybody has a menu of things you look at, but you know, he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet change-up. So that's the way I look at it.
Man, don't let them control this narrative, man. Your voice matter. Y'all ain't pushing nobody on me. This my team, and I want to win. I don't want to be right. I want the best man, not no favorites, not no pit cats,